Hi Aries, welcome to June. Hope y'all are feeling good. Hopefully. Oh, card of Aries, the Magician. This is beautiful. Look, you're kind of a powerhouse of energy right now. And as I was really thinking about the astrology and thinking about the energy, I feel like Aries, weirdly enough, is like the most grounded of all the signs. If you're an Aries who's really caught up in some kind of mini drama in your life, take a step back and really ask yourself like what you're projecting out there, because your manifestation power, it's like really strong. You guys, you have to understand that you've got Black Moon Lilith in the 12th house right now, okay? Black Moon Lilith, she can be a really amazing asset or she can work totally against you. She usually operates in the extremes. And she, in her best sense, you're really connected to the ethereal realm. Your intuition is super on point. You're kicking in all this healing energy, especially with Chrion in your sign right now. People are coming to you for advice. People are coming to you as their rock. And if you can't be a rock for yourself, you might actually lead other people astray, okay? So it's a very delicate situation that you're in right now. You're coming back to a home space. You're coming back to who you know you are, all the Cancer, Mars, North Node, everything, right? You're coming back to who you know you are. And because this Magician is so potent and it's so masculine, it needs to be used with extraordinary levels of awareness. You need to understand that every thought that you're having is actually doing something. It's actually like vibrating off of you. So you need to be conscious of your thoughts. You need to be conscious of your words. You need to understand the ripple effect that happens every time we think and feel and say and do something. Okay? Because you're strong and you're the warrior energy and your planet is in Cancer, and like it's a lot, and you have to be energetically responsible. And other people, if they're not being energetically responsible, then it's their problem. You can't be responsible for them. So here you have the Eight of Wands, which is about swift action and swift movement, because it's coming straight, right? What did I say? The ripple effect. Boom, you manifest something, and then boom, all of a sudden you're like, you've already moved to that new location. You already have that new job. You already have that new love. Like, I think Aries is on the fast track toward getting their dreams. Like, you're on the fast track toward having all the things. So don't stress, don't worry, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of your own success. Don't be afraid of your own happiness, because why? Like, you actually could have all the things that you've been telling yourself that you've wanted like forever. Chrion coming through, like Chrion can expose a lot of wounds, but I think Uranus did that exposure already. Like, you're already pretty raw and vulnerable. So Chrion comes through, sweeps up all the fragmented pieces, and you're becoming whole. And what happens when a sign like Aries becomes whole? Like, look out, because they're kind of on a rampage. Eight of Wands, they're ready to achieve. They're ready to get there. It's really the story of like a phoenix rising from the ashes. It really is. And when a phoenix rises, it's more powerful than it was before the burn, before the crash and burn. So the world's got to kind of look out for you guys. This is what makes you strong. Honestly, it is. It's what makes you strong. Some of you may need to incur some kind of loss or let something go, cut the ties. You may need to walk away from something, or maybe someone is walking away from you. Don't worry. Any loss is ultimately your gain, because when we lose something that we've been grasping onto, it usually comes back to us tenfold in a much easier way. The Eight of Wands suggests, the Eight of Wands suggests abundance, and it suggests swift, like really fast motion. So it's not just something that kind of meanders into your life over the years. It's like kind of the minute that you cut something loose, let something go, is like you're just creating that much more space. Don't be afraid to create space. I know that a lot of people are afraid to lose stuff. You're afraid to lose romantic partners. You're afraid to lose a little bit of money. You're afraid to lose your reputation or whatever it is. That fear is completely unfounded. Remember, if you're experiencing fear, that fear is being amplified by the magician. The magician is neutral, positive or negative energy. It doesn't care, right? Just kind of the way the land doesn't care what seeds you plant. If you plant poison, it's going to grow a poisonous plant. If you plant wheat, it's going to grow wheat. It doesn't care. The magician energy is neutral and it goes all ways. So make sure you're planting beneficial things, all right? Don't stress about the Three of Swords. It's not a big deal. It might hurt, it might suck, but ultimately it's the universe's way of really looking out for you and being like, look, Aries, we got big plans in store for you. We have stuff we want you to do and we want you to be at peace. And clearly you weren't at peace with something. So your pain ends up becoming your greatest asset with this scenario coming through. Hermit. What did I say? You guys are becoming like the healers. You, weirdly enough, and I know that the stereotype against Aries is impulsive, last minute, immature, the babies of the zodiac. Like, please. When an Aries matures, they become, like I always say, the leaders, but the leaders who are in the trenches, not the ones who are up on the thrones looking down from the hill like 10 miles away. They're like literally in the front lines with their team. And so I know that you have that kind of life experience that people are needing. Like they're needing you to tell your story. They're needing you to share. They're needing you to be supportive of them. And I always say Aries is like one of the most supportive signs, like fire signs in general. Like you have a fire sign behind you, like you're good to go, right? Supporting you. And I do see you taking on that role, and I see you taking on that role quite seriously because I think you understand that by supporting others, you invite that same kind of supportive energy into your life tenfold, right? What you give is what you get. What you give is what you get. So this is like magic, literally, the magician. This is literally magic happening. You've evolved so beautifully. Uranus through your sign, now Chrion, like you're getting a lot of those outer planet lessons, a lot of those outer planet benefits, and I think for many of you it's manifesting in a positive way. So we got the Magician. The next card that came out was the Four of Swords. These are like the same card, really. Aries, I think that you might be manifesting in solitude. Maybe you are Mars in Cancer, of course, backing off the social activity as the month progresses, backing off trying so hard with romance and dating. Some of you might be backing off, really a lot of ambition in your day job because you want to focus a lot more of that attention on your kind of your side hustle or kind of what you have going on the side to make that fruitful for you so you can then make the transition into entrepreneurship or whatever, right? So it's all happening very much behind the scenes. So again, be careful what you're doing behind the scenes. Be careful what you're doing. Your healing energy from something like this, it's really taking over. I don't see that this has a lot of power over you. I don't see that this is really that painful anymore. Like, I think you've already pulled that thorn from your paw. And now it's just more about mending. It's maintenance, maintaining the whole, like, what comes after. You see what I mean? And it gets more and more positive every passing day. With every little success that you have, every client that you close, every kind of good connection you have with a friend, whatever, like it just is compounding in positivity, hopefully. If you're an Aries who's really stuck at that Three of Swords and just like, the only thing that I can tell you is to give it time, right? The Hermit is all about processing. digesting what happened, you have to deal with it, you have to digest it, and that process is organic and it happens in the realm of the subconscious. So you don't really have a lot of control over how quickly you get over something. You just have to let yourself feel it, and you have to let yourself heal from it. Meditation is the absolute best methodology to heal. Learning how to quiet the mind, learning how to separate yourself from the Three of Swords, and to recognize that Three of Swords isn't you, that you're the experiencer of that Three of Swords, and it is separate from you. It's existing in your emotional and mental bodies, but it is not the true essence of you. See, what did I mean? Like a full, snowball effect of positivity. I think this is you guys. I think it's kind of, I think it might be bothering people that you seem to be unbothered. It's bothering people that you seem to be unbothered. This and this card go well together. This is kind of a Sagittarius vibe. And we always, Sagittarius is the archetype of the high spiritual leader, the true religion, the Buddha, the Dalai Lama, these kind of spiritual ideas. That's what I mean. You guys are evolving to this super high level, personality. People see it, people feel it, they're attracted to it, they're drawn to it. You may be drawing in other types of spiritual people too, who are like, Aries, I'm having this problem. I need some level of guide. Weirdly, you guys are taking on the guides, the role of the guides. How did this happen? When did this happen? When did this whole transition start going on? I know you've always been supportive, but at what point, at what stage did it start becoming your MO? Your modus operandi, right? At what point did that happen? When? People start coming to you, they see your wisdom. And I think you're really more than willing to help in a lot of ways. Aries taking on the more mature role in the relationship. Ending relationships when they know there's no future, even though it's hard for them. Owning up to the energy, not reacting to it, owning up to it, being honest. There's no immature energy coming through here at all. No compulsive, nothing. Because I think you know that what's happening with all the things that you're manifesting, all the things that you're working on, you are actually laying a foundation for a grand future. You are setting down those initial pavers, right? The floor. I feel like you're working on the floor level right now. Like I said, you're in the trenches right now, but because you're building something really substantial. So because you're an in the trenches kind of leader, you've done all the dirty work. So what the dirty work is like. You have no problem doing the dirty work. And because of your life experience, you know what needs to be done. So that's why the swift quality is coming through. Now you're smart enough now. You have enough knowledge now to know what works, what doesn't, what to accept, what to reject. Because like I said, you're on a rampage. You're on a rampage and you're unstoppable. So whatever this fortress is that you're trying to manifest, it could actually be a fortress, an empire. That's a theme for this month. I think people are really feeling this, building an empire, leaving a legacy, making a mark in the world, whether it's through having a child, becoming a prominent member in the community, getting married and being a power couple, building a company. Everyone has all these different kinds of dreams. And this is a month when it's actually you're starting to see it form. There's a lot of work ahead of you. And there's a lot of work ahead of you. But yet you still continue to put one foot in front of the other because you're in love with the process now. Before, I think you were in love with the results. I think you were in love with the idea of having the perfect relationship. You were in love with the idea of being filthy rich. You were in love with the idea of owning a lot of stuff or whatever the thing is, but you're not there anymore. You've learned to love the process. You've learned to love the growth. You've learned to love the step by step, and you've definitely learned to love the learning. I don't see anyone else coming out in this reading right now because honestly, everyone else is just kind of an extraneous sort of satellite vibe. It's real, a lot of focus on you. That's what happens with fourth house activity. It all comes back in. It all comes back to you. It comes back to the true essence of who you are. And it comes back to where you know you were headed all along. Somewhere along the line, we get distracted by the world. We get distracted by other people's expectations. The Buddha, the Guru. Guys, I'm telling you, your spirituality is like spiking. See, what happens when your spirituality comes first is all the material stuff starts to fall into place real easy. The relationship starts to fall in line. The money starts to fall in line. The whole new set of because it's all now put in its place, right? It's all now put in this space of okay, well, give or take, come and go, it doesn't matter as long as I am secure in my core. So even though you may have people coming in and out of your life, this is you, but it's also other people, right? It's kind of just this isn't necessarily a person. I feel like it's just an overall vibe of coming in, people coming out, and you seem to be really okay with that. Let people do what they got to do. No judgment, no expectation. Because when you're sitting so firmly as a rock, you're unshakable. Nothing can bring this down. Nothing can shake a Buddha off of his throne, right? No one can do that. No one can rattle you. So whatever stage you're at in spiritual development, keep going because you're gonna start seeing the benefits. See what happens when people really surrender. It's like when you surrender in the world, you become higher and higher in your total seat of awareness. And the more and more you stop trying to make certain things happen, the more easily it can actually, it's like one of those Chinese finger traps, right? You put your fingers in, the more and more you struggle to get your fingers out, you can't get your fingers out. You gotta relax into it, and then you can let your fingers come out. So that's what life really is. No one really teaches us that. Life is just one big Chinese finger trap. Money, anything you want. Specifically, the word prosperity comes to mind. It's literally in the cards for you guys. Genuinely, it is. Cards of creativity, collaboration, working together. Right here it is you making it happen with the earth energy, and here it is manifesting everything with the 8 of Wands energy. The ships are coming in, you know it, and it's absolute faith. There is so much faith that Aries has now. It's kind of unreal. Faith that yep, it's already mine. If you can dream it, it's already yours. And I see no shortage of taking action. It's not like you're just sitting in your house doing nothing. Right? You're falling in love with the process. It's never, ever, ever about the end result. It's always, always, always about the process. So you're falling in love with the process and you're starting to see the results. So let's put the camera down. Okay, switch it over for you guys. There we go. Here's the overall layout of everything. Let's pull out these cards here. Okay, adjustment. Oh, it's like the card of justice. Okay. And I love the word adjustment because that's often what it is. When we learn and we come to that understanding of like, okay, well, we were way overweighted in one side of the scale, trying way too hard to make things happen, to build that business, to make money, to do da 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 da. We were trying way too hard. Well, now you start filling up the kind of non-worldly bucket a little bit. And that's where this guy comes in, and that's where this guy comes in. You know, you start filling in the bucket here, and this one starts to even everything out. So you are in a period of adjustment. That's why, like, this whole spiritual thing, that's why Chrion, right? Because Uranus just, like, made it so heavy on one side. It was so heavy in terms of rebellion, and I can do it myself, and I know best for my own life, and da 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 da. Like, we know the dialogue that Aries was going through. But now you're like, okay, let's slow it down. Let's fall in love with the process. Let's understand. Let's heal. Let's bring it all back together. Here's the wholeness quality of everything, the internal wholeness from your mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical bodies. All the systems working together. And when that wholeness is achieved, then that's when you can have some consistency on the other side of the scale. Okay? The Eon. That's like the what's it called? Oh my God, I can't, the judgment card, judgment. Okay? It's kind of like the age. The age is over, and we know that past 7 years. We know that, and now this next Neptune retrograde too, let's talk about that for a second, coming up at the end of June. Neptune retrograde in your 12th house. It's going to give you the chance to it's not about growth and evolution so much as it is about the maintenance, maintaining the spiritual understanding without getting shaken, right? Neptune retrograde with Jupiter retrograde, you know, the spirituality components. It's like, okay, Aries, now it's time for you to learn how to keep it in balance. It's not just about always achieving balance, but then keeping it together. Oh, I love it. A lot of Sagittarius energy coming out, which again is the philosopher energy, like I said, the guru, the Buddha, that kind of stuff. And that's really what's happening. Jupiter in that 9th house there. It's really what's happening. You're starting to open your mind up. You're starting to see things from so many different perspectives. You're starting to see your past as just kind of a consolidation of a whole bunch of half-truths, which means like, okay, well, if my past is just full of half-truths, then it's not really true, and I was maybe creating my own pain out of this when it's not really the whole picture. And I think you're coming into the whole picture here. You're really starting to see things for what they really were. It's all coming together so perfectly. Oh, sacred divinity. There are 2 paths ahead. The quality of duality coming through with the adjustment card, it really rings, it speaks volumes, because there is the path of going back, always. There's always the path of going back, and there's the path of going forward, right? There's never any real standing still. I see Aries taking on a whole new vibe of, like I said, energetic responsibility, of like, okay, it's a new way to live my life. And you are stepping into your sacred divinity. Okay? Beautiful. These are the cards we're going to do in the comprehensive. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about them too much here. But if you want to take a look at the comprehensive, the link will be down below in the description box. So let's start clarifying these, yeah? Usually talk for another 20 to 25 minutes in that video too, so... Oh, amazing. You guys, you're standing so solid. There's just no shakeability here. It's like no matter what anyone does or what anyone says, you cannot be broken. You cannot be broken. It's okay to be a little bit selfish here, guys. No one can fault you for that. Look at the 3 of Swords here. You may have been dealing with the King of Wands, or maybe you're having to take on the King of Wands energy. Clearly a separation of things here. I think that Three of Swords was also because of your own kind of fragmented self. Ah, amazing. Three of Coins. Let's look at the Hermit. Another card of Sagittarius. Let's pull one more for that Hermit, or two more, I guess. Ugh. Okay, I don't even know. You guys have had a lot of really amazing readings this year. Just in general, because I just think you're doing such a good job of growth. And whenever there's growth, there's really not a lot of negativity coming through. And I don't see negativity for you. Not even a little bit. The only thing is just people might not really understand you. You know, people might not get why you're doing the things that you're doing. Judgment, right? Justice. Excuse me, justice. I mean, same as the Adjustment card. Okay. What did I say about the foundation, right? You're really starting fresh. This is amazing. Tower is not a big deal at all. Two of Cups comes in. Like I said, you're inviting new love. Ace of Cups, you guys. If you're wanting a new relationship, it's so possible that it is right around the corner. Like, genuinely, it's so close to you. So the perspective, the I see quality of that Sagittarius card is all about the Three of Swords. So we'll talk about it a little bit more in the comprehensive. So if you want to join me, we have some really good things coming through. Whereas the other, I don't know, one of these cards was Ten of Cups, I think. Or Ace of Cups, Ten of Cups, I think it was. We have a lot of like cup energy coming through, a lot of things regarding emotions and love. So if you want to join, you're more than welcome. Link will be down below. All right. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have an excellent, excellent month. Take care. Bye-bye.